Today we're going to talk about the muscles of the hind leg. The hind leg, differently than the front leg, is attached to the pelvis. So the movement comes from the pelvis, and by the knee here is the point where the leg is free from the body. And above the knee, most of the bones are embedded in layers of muscles, except for the kneecap that sticks out and the hip bone that sticks out too, especially if a horse is a bit thinner. So you've got all these muscles that are crisscrossing each other and making sure that the leg can move forward and backwards. It also moves a little bit to the side to get past the mass of the belly. Unless a horse is very thin, you don't really see these muscles very clearly. But what you do see is this dent here that turns into an upside down V. There's this long muscle that goes all the way from the tail to where the Achilles tendon starts. You got this mass of muscles, all the bones are hidden in these muscles, and then from the stifle onwards, the leg is free to move apart from the body. There are some tendons that go down to the hock joint. They are covered with bundles of muscles, extenders and flexors. And then, of course, there is this gigantic bundle of tendons that we call the Achilles tendon. This is the same as our Achilles tendon. And then below the hock, there are only tendons and ligaments. There are absolutely no muscles. What we do see is that between the leg bone and the tendons behind it, there is another very visible dent, because there is these huge tendons that are attached a little bit off the bone. So that is something you always want to draw to give some definition to the lower leg. Now, drawing a line with the black marker, we can see what we would see if we see the horse from the outside. Starting with the stifle, the place where the leg gets free from the body. And then this very important dent again. We go down to the part where the Achilles tendon begins. It is connected to the hock. And between the tendon and the rest of the leg, there is a very deep dent. You can literally put your fingers in there and almost put them together. There will be just skin between your fingers. The point is, this hollow spot is always very visible. So as we go down from the hock is already tendons and ligaments, and then the rest of the legs only tendons and ligaments. I like to draw that part with sharper lines and curves. When we look at the back view of the hind leg, we will see that we can use the same markers that were so useful when drawing the leg from the side, are still useful when we draw the leg from behind. Let's start with that long muscle that creates that really useful dent at the back of the leg, because you can also see it from the back. And then when we go to the level of the stifle, downwards, we get these bundles of muscles and they stick out again. So there's like an extra bulge there. And here we have the hock with that big bone that's sticking out, and the Achilles tendon that attaches to the muscles in the upper part of the leg. And there you have again that very deep indentation, which is so very useful, especially when drawing it from the back. Now we draw the part from the hock downwards. So here we only have bones and tendons and ligaments. And we have that large bundle of tendons going down basically all the way to the hoof. Now, if you like my content and you want to help me, please share and give me a like. It is very helpful with the YouTube algorithms. Now, the Achilles tendon is super visible, and it is very useful in showing that you are actually looking at the back of a leg and giving that hind leg some direction. Again, I like to draw from the hock down with sharp curves, but the hock itself does have sharper curves. It is a collection of bones with just tendons and ligaments on top of it. What you also see very clearly at the back of the leg is that very thick bundle of flexor tendons that you should draw it anyway, but it's also useful in giving some shape to the leg when you see it from the back.